Welcome back to one of my favorite sports podcasts, Frizz and the Grizz, with your host Trudeau and my guy, Keith Frizzy Frizz.
Welcome back to Frizz and the Grizz. Thank you for joining us live Tuesday, March 7th, or next day on podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, look your boys up, rate, subscribe, review. Fun show for you today. Very eventful week in NBA basketball. Upsets across the board, I would say. Really interesting series brewing in the second round. Some of them are starting tonight. Some of them have already tipped off a couple days ago. Excuse me. Talk NBA. We also want to get into the Kendrick, Lamar, Drake rap feud. D is not so much into it. I've been peppering D over the past week and a half about this rap feud. I am super invested into it. But first, D, what it do?
What it do? Happy Tuesday. And yes, to I guess go back to what you were saying. I'm so out of the loop with the whole Kendrick Drake thing. Like I'm doing my best to like try to pay attention to it. I'm in multiple chats, and yeah, we're gonna have to go over that in detail because I'm not following
Shots have been fired.
from what I've heard.
And now I mean literally, because there was a shooting outside of Drake's home today.
Even better.
Like it is crazy.
People wanted like we want blood. Like when for the little bit that I do know, when J. Cole bowed out, and like we can go deeper obviously in detail later, but like when he bowed out, people were like rebelling, like we want blood, we want people to talk about people's mothers and all this shit. And like I'm hearing that like it's gone much farther than that. So we'll see, I guess, a little bit later.
Yeah, we'll get that in the back half. The show's been gone farther than I could ever imagine, and it's been fun. It's been a fun day for the rap community, or a fun week, excuse me. First, how you doing, buddy? How was your week?
Everything's good over here. Weekend celebrated the oldest birthday, cool little princess party.
Oh yeah.
In which there was no designated princess. She just had her own princess dress. So it was pretty cool.
Dig it.
Yeah, girls are just getting older, man. Like life's a fucking flash. It's a snap of the finger. So it was a fun weekend. So I can't complain. What about you?
Nice, man. I'm just fucking tired as hell. Tired as hell being dad over here. For those who do listen and watch, we'll be off next week. I'm going on vacation, jumping on the bird, going down to Florida. Family trip. I am scared as hell, but we will survive.
Bringing the little one on the airplane for the first time. That is, I mean, kudos to you. We still haven't done it yet. We've taken a 3-hour drive, but we haven't taken a flight yet.
It can go one of two ways, man. It could be really good or really bad. There's no in between with this.
50-50, baby. That's all you got to live by.
I'm hoping it flips our way, but let's get into the NBA stuff because I know there's a lot of things to talk on. And I want to talk first on the series that I'm representing right now, Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Denver Nuggets. D, I wish I would had enough time on my hands to cut up the sound from last week because I asked you one question. I said, D, what was a statement and a question? Statement, D, I'm a little worried about the Nuggets. Yeah. They were awfully sleepy in their first round. They did not seem to have a sense of urgency. And your response was, championship teams, they can just turn on the switch. D, the switch has not been turned on.
Not only has it not been turned on, but like the word that has been used a lot is sleepwalking, and they can't go down against this team because of the hunger that Minnesota has. I think that is a huge factor, but also there's some issues that like arise with the Lakers series, and that was because of them sleepwalking or essentially like not playing until it was the second half when they were down 15, down 20, and then you exude a lot of energy to come back. We saw KCP got hurt. KCP is one of their, premier role players, 3-and-D type of player. And then we saw Jamal Murray get hurt, with his calf. And he is the closer. He's essentially not the engine that, makes Denver run. That's Jokic, obviously. But he is the superstar that Jokic needs because you can't play the entire game through a 7-foot big. It's just not that's just not how the NBA works right now. And we're seeing that. We're seeing Jamal is getting frustrated because of the length of Minnesota. And we're seeing Joker, I've said this multiple times, be like sped up, like much faster than he normally plays. Like he's bringing the ball up 94 feet. And it's like, I don't know about all that, but that's because Jamal's hurt, right? And they're able to do what, and I know a lot of people are like, he's going to report it back to the Lakers, but hear me out. They're able to do to the Nuggets, Minnesota, obviously, what the Lakers did to the Nuggets in 2020 when they won their championship, which was send big after big after big at Joker. And the Lakers won that series 4-2 because they were able to hit First quarter with AD, second quarter with JaVale McGee, third quarter with Dwight Howard, fourth quarter, all three of them rotate. And that's what we're seeing right now with Gobert. Obviously, he didn't play last night, which, I mean, Kyle Anderson replaced him and did just as good. But then we're seeing Cat and the fucking unsung hero, Nas Reed. Like, them three, I've joked about Gobert, but they've played very doggish right now, and it's a reflection of Anthony Edwards.
I think the crazy thing with this Minnesota team is if you look at their numbers through the regular season, they weren't a premier offensive team. I think they were either middle of the pack or bottom 15 of offensive rating. But this playoff, points per 100 possession. Do you know who leads all playoff teams in points per 100 possession?
Probably Minnesota.
Minnesota Timberwolves. They had the best defense in the regular season. The defense is carried over to the playoffs, and their offense has just taken absolute spike upwards in those last 6 games in the playoffs. I do wonder how sustainable it is. It feels like statistically it's a bit of an abnormality. I know, like, Ant-Man, I'm obviously repping the Ant-Man jersey to have the throwback number 1 Ant-Man from his rookie year, but he obviously has carried a huge load for them offensively, dropping 40-point games a couple times in these playoffs. I think he's immensely talented, but just as a whole, I don't know if this Minnesota Timberwolves team can continue this offensive pace. On the flip side, Denver is not a very good defense. They've never been a very good defense. So the best they did was last year and they won the title. They went from a bottom 15 to the middle of the pack when it came to the playoffs. But their bread and butter is the 2-man game between Jokic and Murray. It's really hard for them to run it right now effectively with Murray the way he is. He's less of a threat to score. They're going to put more attention on Jokic. I don't want to say the Nuggets are dead in the water because, again, they're a championship team. The playoffs, anything can happen. But very few teams have come back from an 0-2 deficit in the playoffs, especially dropping the first 2 at home. If you can come back so they play in 3 days. So on Friday night, I believe they play the next game, and Jamal Murray is more healthy, more like himself, I'll give him a puncher's chance. But if Jamal Murray continues to play the way he does with his calf injury, I mean, I can't see this going more than 5 at that point.
There's a bigger caveat, and obviously we're not tapped into the NBA, so we have
There's a report on that a few moments ago from Shams. It does not look like they're going to suspend Jamal Murray. I think he was fined $100,000. Do I think he should have been suspended? I mean, you can't be doing that shit. If this was a regular season game, absolutely he's suspended. If they're up 2-0, I think he's suspended. I think because of the defending champs down 0-2, I think the league office are giving the Nuggets a chance to compete the rest of this way by letting Jamal Murray play game 3.
100%. That's what I was going to go with. I didn't know that they had already sent out the report, but yeah, if that was my bigger thing, I was like, look, they can't drop one in Minnesota because it's over, right? They go out there and they split in Minnesota. I know being down 3-1 isn't great, but like it's still don't let us win one, right? Like that mentality. But
I do want to put a caveat to what I just said.
Yeah.
There still might be a suspension coming, but what Shams tweeted, again, like, you know how these information people are? They just push it out as fast as possible. He said that Jamal Murray will be fined $100,000 for his incident. He didn't say that there was no suspension, but like that makes me feel like there's nothing else coming because usually you get the news all at once. So I do want to put the caveat that like that might be wrong in 5 hours, 12 hours, but from what I know now, that's the situation.
It was just dumb both times. The first one, like you could kind of like maybe he was just like rah rah and it slipped out of his hand and happened to go next to the ref. But the second time with the heat pack, that's just stupid. And I would say very like immature for a team that is usually the more mature team. It just came off a championship, you know what I'm saying? So like I saw it, I was like, this shows like internal implosion. Like we can't beat them, so like we're gonna show frustration. Usually champions don't do that. So I think they still have a chance. I'm not ruling out Denver because, like I said, if they split one, they win Friday, or if they win Sunday, yes, they'd be down 3-1 if they win on Sunday versus Friday. But then they're returning back to Denver, and anything can happen. You win one game, again, knock on wood, somebody gets hurt. Draymond versus the Cavs, somebody gets suspended. Nas Reed is a hothead at certain times. Like anything can happen, right? So like it's one of those if you are Denver, I don't think you're out of it yet, but my goodness, are their backs up against the wall.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest benefits for the Timberwolves is just the amount of elite perimeter defenders they have between like Jaden McDaniels and Anthony Edwards.
One of my chats, everybody's like, everybody on that team is a two.
Their worst defender probably in their starting lineup is Mike Conley. And he used to be in his heyday. I mean, he's obviously older now, but in his heyday, he was an elite defender.
Yeah, he's a hustle guy. He's not just somebody that like is just on the court in a defensive liability. Like he's no D'Angelo Russell. He's a hustle versus like attributes. He's not going to get a block. He's not going to get a steal, but he's going to make it harder for you to try to score on him, whoever he's covering.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest favors towards the Minnesota Timberwolves in this series, obviously the Nuggets have the best player in this series in Nikola Jokic. Like he's the best player on the planet. Yeah, you're gonna disagree.
No. I was actually gonna joke about me just saying what I looked at. I was like, let me just follow up what I was just saying about Mike Conley. I said he's not an attribute guy. 2 steals, 1 block last game. So yes, his hustle is still his way of playing defense from early on, Ohio State days. He still has that in him where he can play defense. He's not a liability out there. He just happens to be the worst defender amongst the team that is incredibly well, rounded with defense.
But I was gonna say, like, as far as the guys that are getting minutes, I think both teams are playing 7, and maybe giving a couple minutes to like an 8th guy. But I absolutely trust this Minnesota, 7-man rotation over the Nuggets 7-man rotation. Just like the depth and talent around. They don't have the high tier talent like the Nuggets with Jokic, but like just the collective is just so strong, so good. And I was just absolutely floored. I didn't watch the whole game last night, but when I woke up, I checked the ESPN app, saw the score. I was just like, what? Because it was an absolute, like, the definition of a must-win game, not going down 0-2 at home, and to lose by 26 at home without Gobert playing. Like, it's a head scratcher, man. And it's really hard to see a team, like, again, you said they could flip on the switch at any time. If there was a night to flip on the switch, it was last night, and they couldn't do it. It was just embarrassing.
Yeah, so they got out on the jump early in the first half, and they were just unable. I say they, as in Denver, they were unable to like come back. And signs of these were from the last series. Like, granted, it was a 4-1 gentleman's sweep, right? The Lakers had the lead. If there was a clock, like let's just say there was an hour worth of game time. Obviously, there's more than that. But like if there were, I think they said like the Lakers owned like 85 to 90% of the time leading in the series. And it just happened to be the fourth quarter where the Nuggets would come back from down 15, down 12, down 20 in one game, and they'd win. You can't do that against a team that is great with defense. Like you were saying, they're the anti-Heat, right? When we were talking about the Heat heydays, they have great defense, terrible offense, but they're a very high variance team. This isn't a variance for the Timberwolves. They're just getting better on offense as they go through the playoffs. Like, I don't think that there's like a ship that's just going to sink and fall off and they're going to be a shitty offense. They're being led by one of the biggest superstars in the league right now. So I don't see that happening. So with them going down 15, it's not like, all right, we'll just come back on them. No, this is the league's best defense. So like you're going up you're fighting up an uphill battle by putting yourself in a hole being down and happen to go against top 3 defense in the league.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, like, the 2 things that need to go right to fix this. If you're Denver, you have to find a way to slow down Anthony Edwards, which obviously it's easier said than done. And then, can you get Jamal Murray back to where he needs to be? As far as slowing down Anthony Edwards, they've already tried a lot of stuff. I mean, they started off with KCP on him, Caldwell Pope, that is, and they ditched that game plan after two games. They've been trying some other guys. I don't see the answer. Porter Jr. can't keep up with him as far as speed. Maybe Aaron Gordon, like that's like your only other option if you're not going to go back to KCP. There's just no other, or just continue to immediately throw doubles at him and don't let him touch the ball, like force him out. But even right now, like you see Anthony Edwards year 1 and 2, he's doing the him plays and trying to take on the whole team. He's taking the easy plays now. When they bring a double, he just makes the easy pass and the passes just move around and get an open shot. He's doing all the right things right now. It's tough.
the problem isn't slowing down Ant, because in the second quarter, I watched the first half, fell asleep. It was late. So I fell asleep last night, I think in the third quarter. But in the second quarter, when they were up 20-25, Ant had 5 points. It had nothing to do with Anthony Edwards, but closing time, Ant went off.
Yeah.
Like somebody mentioned it in a text thread, and they were like, Minnesota's up 20 plus, and I was like, Ant's only got 5. It's really not contributing. And then as soon as I said that, he ripped off 7 straight. And it's like, well, he can do that. He was like, I haven't scored yet. I'm gonna go ahead and score. And 7 extended the lead back up to 20. And it's like that's what you're dealing with. So it's not just like he's gonna get his 30. It's when he chooses, which, like you were just saying, send a double at him. He's just gonna get rid of the ball, and I have 4 other people that can make the right play, because he's not the point guard. He's just the guard that can play make.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some, like, I know I sent you the Instagram thing, but I said it on this show either last week or the week before. Because of the way he plays defense, there are some eerily similarities that he has to one Dwayne Wade from like 2000. When would they win the championship? 2007. I was gonna say 2006, but that D Wade, he wasn't the point guard. Jason Williams was, but there were times where he was like, "Give me the ball."
Before, I don't remember. I don't
want to be quoted and say you didn't know your stuff.
It was the Shaq Wade team.
Yep, right after he left LA.
It's so long ago at this point. I cannot remember.
Just in my mind thinking, but that's where he's at right now, where it's, I don't need to go off for how Kobe would break it down. If I get 2 jump shots and a free throw every game, 2 jump shots, one of them being a 3, one being a mid-range, and 2 free throws. If I can do that each quarter, doesn't seem like it's a lot to average 28, but that's essentially it. That's what he's doing. He's not going for 2004, 2005. Oh, 2006. Nice.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Good shit. But essentially, that's how he's scoring. He's not scoring like 20 in one quarter and then quiet for a quarter and then 10. It's 7 this quarter, 8 this quarter, 7 this quarter, 10 this quarter. And there's your 30, 40 points just like that.
2 things real quick. Number 1, would you be surprised if I told you right now, as of today, second shortest odds on Vegas sportsbooks, whatever, like your DraftKings, whatever, to win the championship is the Minnesota Timberwolves.
They've given the edge to Minnesota?
Second shortest odds behind the Boston Celtics.
I would agree with that.
Do you think they can win the championship?
Yes.
I think so. I think they give the Boston team a very tough time.
It's length. That's gonna cause problems for everyone, and that's where I think New York lacks that, but New York has the it factor, Jalen Brunson, and Indiana has the length, but I don't know if they have the scoring to keep up with Boston. You can send multiple people at Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum with what the Pacers have. Knicks can't do that. But with this side, I don't see either. Kudos and respect to OKC. I just don't think it's their time yet. Minnesota's got some people that got calloused hands. They've been in the league for a while. OKC, I just don't know if they've hit that wall yet where it's like this is the redemption. This is Minnesota's redemption. They got smacked by Denver last year, and Edwards is like, I ain't forget that shit. And like he's going out there and making people remember that this is the team that beat them.
You're a football guy, so maybe this analogy will make sense to you. I'm curious if this is a thing or not. We saw the past 4 or 5 years, everyone was changing their roster to become like the Golden State Warriors, play small ball shooting, a lot of ball handlers. We saw the Minnesota Timberwolves when they acquired Rudy Gobert. Everyone mocked them for getting too big and have like this old school Twin Towers approach with the Timberwolves. I think towards like the Patriots when they won that Super Bowl against the Rams, everyone was going towards a spread offense, and the Patriots went to 12 personnel with the 2 tight ends.
2 tight ends, 2 and a fullback.
And they zigged when everyone zagged, and they had an advantage because defenses were constructed to take on that spread personnel, so the Patriots gained an advantage. Do you think the Minnesota Timberwolves are like ahead of the curve in the fact that like everyone's going small? They're like, well, let's zag when everyone zigs. We might have an advantage here. And it seems to like at least pay off this regular season into this playoff so far.
I would say they're on the cusp of that. but I think the league is looking for what Minnesota has anyway. There just isn't a lot, and that's 3-and-D wings, like the length with wings. Every team could benefit. Legit 1 through 30, besides Minnesota right now, or even Indiana, like I was just saying. But like literally all 30 teams could benefit from what roster construction that Minnesota has. So I'm not gonna say that like they're innovators. It's just that's what people are looking for, and they're just not panning out.
I got the game plan for Denver game 3.
Okay. Yep. Make sure we get. Hey, Michael Malone.
Michael, listen to me.
What we got to say here.
This is the game plan for game 3. Michael Malone, if you're listening, feed the ball, get the ball into Karl Anthony Towns' hands, and let that man do some dumbass shit to get into like foul trouble within the first 3 minutes, and it will fuck up the Timberwolves game plan. I'm telling you right now.
To an extent, is the only issue with that is they play smart. Cat had 4 fouls early or 3 fouls early, and he got his 4th in the middle of the third, and he still was able to finagle the entire game to stay in. So he does play smart on certain things, but they just have replacements. That's the problem. Is that it's not just Cat. There's Gobert, and then when it's not Gobert, there's Naz Reid, and then when it's not Naz Reid, there's Ryan Anderson. I don't care if you guys laugh at him. I messaged somebody yesterday where I said Ryan Anderson. They were like, Ryan Anderson. I was like, you don't realize Kyle Anderson. Sorry.
I was like, Ryan Anderson was an all-white sharp.
Yeah, Kyle Anderson. I was like, you don't realize that the IQ plays that he had in last night's game, I think there were 3 times Jokic got the ball at the free throw line. And what did we see with LA? We saw him battle AD, backstep, turnaround, hook shot, or mid-range jump shot. Kyle Anderson was like, nah, none of this. He just came in and slapped Jokic. It was like, reset that shit. Get that to somebody else. I'm not sitting here watching this. And then they wouldn't score. And so, like, Jokic was like, I can't keep doing this because, like, they're just going to come in here and the double team into me or they're going to foul me. And, like, it's not like he was shooting a shit ton of free throws. They were smart fouls to be like, no, dude, you're not just going to go here and just post up at the free throw line and try to beat us. Like, if you do that, I'm coming in. I'm not going to play this whole game. I got 6 fouls. Here's one of them. And like they'd have to reset, throws off the timing, and then they don't get a bucket. Like that's IQ that like not everybody has.
Last thing, we talked a lot about this series, and we'll probably talk the most about this one. I don't think we should even talk. I mean, we can touch on the Mavs versus the Thunder, but it hasn't even started. It's not worth really discussing, in my opinion. I feel like there's a lot of people and a bunch of dumbasses just giving shit to Rudy Gobert. I love shit talking Rudy Gobert. You know he's my favorite player to dunk on. Your favorite player to dunk on. But the man's having his first child. Like,
leave him alone.
I understand. Like for us, basketball is just this thing on TV that people do for our entertainment. It's their job. Like if you work in whatever job you're working and you're having your child,
working at Subway, you're not gonna be like, hey, I gotta stay here and make these subs.
Oh. Exactly. Like, come on, man. Like, I don't blame him for wanting to be there. And apparently, like, I was reading today that the reason why he didn't make it back for the game was that the weather was shitty and the planes couldn't take off. It's like the man tried to get back. It just wasn't happening.
Even if, like, as much as I clown on the Gobert, like, I was actually very happy, like, proud that, like, he was like, hey guys, like, I know we're in the middle of it. We trust you guys I trust you to go out there and win, and they did. To go see the birth of his first child. Like, I'm never gonna be like, yo, man, put your team first. Like, you sound fucking corny if you do that. Like, let the man go home, celebrate with the missus, not have to stress of getting back to work, because no, like that's even more of a shout out to him for you saying that he tried to go back. Like, nah, man, you don't need to be rushing that type of stuff. Like airplanes, helicopters, we all know bad shit can happen. Nah, no need for any of that.
Knicks Pacers series, while the Knicks did pull off the win, Pacers had the lead at halftime. It was a 4-point game in Madison Square Garden. This is going to be a hell of a series, and this was a game that ended with some controversy with a kickball that was not a kickball that went to the Knicks' favor. This game could have gone either way between the Pacers and Knicks. 4-point game. That's with Tyrese Halliburton scoring 5 points.
Mm-hmm.
This thing is far from over series.
Yeah, I don't ever like having stuff come down to it being referees involved. There are multiple plays that happen prior to it getting to whatever situation that anybody wants to blame on the ref. Like, if you let the team go on a 7-0 run in the first quarter, well, then maybe if you only let them score 2 buckets instead of 3, right? Anything can happen. So, like, I'm never going to be one to point directly at the referees, even though, like, some of them do impact the game. At the end of the day, you still got to go out there and just try to win. There was a bad screen on one side of the court that wasn't called, and there was a bad screen on the other side of the court that is called. So, like, we saw in the Knicks Philly series, like, Tyrese Maxey got fucking elbowed, blah blah blah, on one side, and then in another, game clinching series, like, Brunson got elbowed and they didn't call it. It's just part of the game, unfortunately. Referees, I won't say they're trash because it is an incredibly difficult job. I understand that. Shit's never going to be perfect. It just won't be. So, like, if you just remove the referees out of the equation and just win, again, you can see the fucking banner back there. Here's my Saints, side of me kicking out right now. Stop putting it in the fucking referee's hands and just win the game. Be up by 20 like Minnesota, where it doesn't come down to a damn kickball and you got to stress about it being kickball or a false charge or anything like that. You don't got to worry about offensive pass interference or stupid ass defensive pass interference or illegal. They don't got to worry about all that shit if you just take care of it before the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they do have to find a way to slow down Brunson, though. This man, I think he has the record for most 40-point games. 40-point straight games in the playoffs. It was 4, right?
Yeah, 4.
I think he had a tie with Kobe and Michael and somebody else. And was it Bubble Murray? I think.
Great company. 57. Maybe it was Bubble Murray. I don't know the last one, but I know it was Jordan and Kobe.
Yeah, I don't know what he put up as a final in the game. Let's see. I have the box score in front of me. So we had 43 on 14 for 26 shooting. Honestly, those are pretty good percentages.
That's better.
Or 50%.
40.
What? Excuse me?
I said I'll take 50% for 40.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun series. I don't know what they do to stop him. I heard the idea floated out today, which is, it sounded asinine, but maybe is like just throw some size at him. Maybe flirt with like throwing Pascal Siakam. I know it's like a weird matchup, but just some insane length to just get him off his game and take away that 17-foot jump shot. Because honestly, with the Knicks, it's like, if Brunson's not scoring, are you really super concerned about the Knicks offense?
Not really, but like the first 3 games of the 3, I think it was 2. I don't want to say 3. I think third is when he turned it on. The first 2 games of the Philly series, he played like shit. They were still winning. So, like, yes, he's the engine that helps that team run, but like, he does other things. He can still distribute the ball if his shot's not on. So it's not just let's just shut down Jalen Brunson and make everybody else beat us. Josh Hart could go off for 20 like this, and he has this postseason a couple of times. We haven't seen the best of Dante DiVincenzo, but like, who's to say he doesn't start kicking off the right way?
Dante had a good game. 25, 5 and 9 shooting from 3. Like, he had a pretty good game.
That's the game that I'm saying. Like, the whole playoffs, he hasn't been like that.
Yeah.
Last night, yesterday he was. But like, that's what I'm saying. He can have that type of game.
Dude, I'm just concerned about the Knicks. Like, we both think this is going to be a long series, regardless of how this breaks. Like, this probably going 6, at least 6, probably 7 between these two teams. You're probably likely going to get a rested Boston team in the Eastern Conference Finals, right? Because Cavs might win a game, but Boston should win it 4 or 5. I'm looking at the minutes played, dude. You know how, like, there's an old saying in the playoffs. It's like, I forgot what coach started the saying, but it's like, you play 8, trust 7, or like whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you play 8 guys, but trust 7. So like, when it gets down to not cutting time, you cut it down to 7. This team plays 8, but trust 5. I'm looking at the minutes played, and you have Josh Hart played every minute, 48 minutes. Brunson took 4 minutes off, DiVincenzo 4 minutes off, and OG took 6 minutes off. The only guy that's actually getting spelled out of there is Isaiah Hartenstein, which is like the least important player in the lineup. I understand that these guys have played like this all year, and that's the Tibbs wage. It's completely mental. Dude, if they do advance past the Pacers, these guys are going to have no legs left to play a fresh Boston team everyone agrees is the best team in the league.
We keep saying that, though, so who knows? That's the only thing, is I think they're trained for it. because we're not the only ones. Every analyst has been saying this all season. You can't keep playing your team like this. You can't keep doing it. It's going to catch up to you in the playoffs. Well, guess what? 4-2 Philly. Well, you can't keep playing like this. It's gonna hurt your team. 1-0 against Indy. So
Yeah.
it's like it's working. Will it bite their head? Bite them in the ass at some point, maybe. But like we're kind of at that spot right now. It's like let's just let it ride because they're not changing shit, man. Just let it ride.
Well, you said they're prepared for. I think they asked actually Josh Hart about it because he plays the most minutes of everyone. He's an insane person, and he did quote comment something like along the lines that we prepare like this all year. Like we've played the regular season this way. We take the regular season seriously. So like we're fit to play these minutes. Like it's not bothering us.
Mm-hmm.
There is a wear and tear thing. Like I understand people don't like the idea of load management these days and age, but like your body breaks down, man, playing anything, any sport. And the more minutes you're out there, the higher chance of having some sort of tweak or injury or whatever. I don't know. And when you have tired muscles, like it's easier to hurt something.
That's the bigger thing. It's not so much of like, will they just get like run down and not be able to run with Boston? It's the potential like injury risk in which we're hoping. I think Brunson got nicked up a little bit against Philly, but like he's still out there. So like let's just hope against that. That's like the worst thing that could happen is one of their players, because it is essentially just five. One of their five goes down with like a tweaked ankle or like a hammy that's like going to be lingering for 2 or 3 weeks.
And the craziest thing I didn't mention off the jump when I was talking about how this game could have went either way, I did not mention it was a 4-point game. I did not mention the end of half heave. It was either end of half or end of
Hartenstein's?
Hartenstein banging in a three from like half court or something like that.
Yeah, they were down. Oh, they were down 7, obviously, before you say that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And just launched it 3-quarter court.
you're talking bad officiating, a miracle three, your best player, all-star, all-NBA player putting up 5 points, and they only lost by 4 on the road.
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing, man. I'm not going to be shocked if the Pacers come back and win this thing.
I won't say they're going to win the series yet. I always like to give the benefit of the doubt to the higher seeded team, just because they're the higher seeded team for a reason.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I think this is one this is probably going to be the toughest series of the second round. I hate saying that with like the champs being in the second round and they're down 0-2, but like this is going to be a good series. I think you're going to see a front runner series between OKC and Dallas. I know we're not going to talk about that.
Go 7.
You think OKC Dallas goes 7? I don't know. It's really going to come down to who implodes first. Is it going to be the young gunners that like implode because they just never had their backs up against the wall like this before? Or is it going to be Kyrie and Luka, where like one of them wants to win so much that it actually is to the detriment of the other?
It'll be fun. So we talked Pacers, Knicks, we talked Timberwolves, Nuggets. I don't think the Celtics and Cavaliers are particularly interesting. Again, this shouldn't go more than 5 games. It might be a gentleman's sweep or a straight sweep. Right now, we're recording on Tuesday. The game's on. Celtics are up by 11. They've had control of this game the whole way. I mean, I do want to just really quick talk about Cavaliers Magic, because I'm obviously a Magic fan. I watched the last. I'll be honest. Like I watched the first game, watched the second game. I didn't watch game 3 or 4 because like my heart was broken. They came back and then they brought me back in. They took the Cavs to 7. As a Magic fan, it's weird how expectations change as a fan, because
Really?
Beginning of the season, I'm like, hey, if we make the play in, like that's a good step forward. And I'm like, well, if we make the playoffs, like that's like a win for us. And then we got to playoffs. I'm like, well, let's win a couple games, and then like and then we got to game 7. I'm like, well, shit, man, we're already here. Let's just win game 7. The motherfuckers are up 16 at one point and blow the goddamn lead. I will say this about this Cavs team. I texted you personally. Watching the Cavs, I got the privilege of watching Donovan Mitchell intently for 5-6 games. The man's a fucking offensive savant. Like the things this guy can do all over the court, whether it's driving to the rim, behind the arc, Donovan Mitchell is like grade A superstar, stamp of approval on the offensive side at least. And he did this all with a bum knee. Like he obviously was not right. That being said, they're going to get their ass beat by the Celtics. And I texted you, this is adios amigos
Oh, he's
for
gone.
Donovan Mitchell because he did everything humanly possible to get the Cavaliers past the Orlando Magic. He ended up by successfully doing so, but it's just not there for him, and he deserves better. I would not think of him with an ill will if he decides to like request a trade because he deserves a chance to compete for a championship. He's that type of player, but that's just not going to happen in Cleveland.
Yeah, he's not homegrown. He wanted out of Utah because he saw the writing on the wall with them getting rid of Gobert, obviously, and not having anything to help him out. Not to say that PNR worked when they were in Utah, because like they were a great regular season team and then didn't do anything in the playoffs. So like he got out of Utah, but like his destination wasn't let me get to Cleveland, Ohio, and win a championship. So like if he requests out or he just doesn't, re-sign an extension, I wouldn't be mad. I'd be like, all right, man, like go get yours. Like this is one that like you just want to win and we want to see you win. So like go team up with another, all NBA superstar that can help you out. Because we've seen you do it by yourself. We've seen you put up 50-point games in a game where your team scores 90, right? Like 7 other people can only combine for 40 points and you put up 50. So like we've seen that. We've seen him carry a team, and there comes a point where like you literally can't do it on your own. I'll give a shout to LeBron James. There's not a lot of people that can do what he did, which is bring a team to a championship, especially when you're a 6'3", 6'4" point guard. Like even Steph Curry had Clay and Dre, right? And he's the best shooter in the history of the game, but he still had running partners. Darius Garland ain't it. Right. It ain't Evan Mobley. You know what I'm saying? Like he needs another, not just all-star. He needs another like superstar all NBA player with him.
Also, shout out to my guy, Franz Wagner, who I have his jersey on, our jersey at my house. Shooting 7% from the field in a game 7 is just not a great look.
Gotta love it, baby. Gotta love it. I wanted to say something, so I'm going to say it right now because you gave me shit with expectations that change with the 2022 LSU Tigers that lost against Florida State beginning of the season. I was like, oh, let's just get to 10 wins. And then all of a sudden they were 8-1. And I was like, oh shit, we beat Bama. And then I was like, wait a minute, we got A&M. We're gonna fucking lose to A&M. And then sure as shit, we lost to A&M. So yes, for you giving me shit, I'm not gonna say, good for Cleveland because I know it's a heartbreak, but just know I don't remember a lot of shit, but I remember you gave me shit for that. So just keep that in mind.
The problem is I'm a fan of really bad sports teams, so I never get my hopes up ever. So I had a little taste of that crack, and I'm like, oh, give me a little more winning. I don't know. That was probably a poor choice of words there, but
yeah, brother, you change that phrase up a little bit.
Little of that drug. I got a little bit of that drug of winning, and I'm like, give me some more of that. Really quick before you get off of the basketball, I don't want to talk on Mavericks Thunder because it hasn't started yet. Prediction: I'm going Thunder in 7. Do you have a prediction for that?
I want the Mavs. I think this is Luka's time. I love the fact that OKC plays as fast and as efficient as they do. Shea is a incredible talent, but this is Luka's time. I think it's Mavs in 6.
Interesting. One of us will be right and one of us will be wrong. It's been a while, dear. Are you ready?
Am I ready? I think this is on you. Are you ready?
Prepare yourselves for the greatest and most unique segment in podcast history. Let's rank some stuff with
Trudeau.
It's time for
Trudeau's.
5.
Woo! That was a poor. I didn't want to do too loud. My kid's sleeping next door.
That's an ugly ass Ric Flair woo.
I didn't want to wake up the kid. I didn't want to go full Ric Flair. You can never go full Ric Flair.
Never go full Ric Flair.
Top 5. We're back with the top 5. We haven't done the first 5 since before the rap tournament. It's been like months, so I'm bringing back with a good one. My little one has been into like little treats. We reward her. She takes a good nap. She eats dinner. Not every night, but like once a week, you can get like a little Debbie, whatever. So she gets to go to the store and pick out whatever she wants. That means Dada has been able to snack on some of these goodness stuff. And I got a good list for you, D.
Mm-hmm.
Top 5 gas station treats. Where's my motherfucking applause? So this means like you go to the gas station, they have obviously the chips, the combos, the salt and vinegar Frito-Lays, not those. I'm talking about like the chocolatey, the sweets, all that type of stuff in like the plastic wrapping, and you can buy them at the store in like a bigger box. So I have my top 5 gas station treat. I have one outside looking in just because it's one that I really like for some reason. It's probably not super popular. Outside looking in donut stick.
Okay.
I don't know if you like that. It's good with like a little bit of coffee, a little milk.
Yep.
Number 4. This is a strong list, I feel like. Number 5, strong list. Number 5, gas station treat, Cosmic Brownies. They still slap as an adult. Like some of these things I've had as an adult, I'm like, this shit's nasty. Strawberry shortcake, one of them. Bought it recently. Disgusting. Loved it as a kid. But Cosmic Brownies, they still hit.
Cosmic Brownies are the ones that are like fudge brownies, little layer of chocolate on the top with like 5 sprinkles.
A little more than 5, like 10.
Okay, I know it's not like doused in sprinkles.
No.
Like you can count them.
It's like Salt Baed on it.
Give one of them. Let me get some sprinkles, mother. Yeah, I like that. Okay, I like it. Good start.
Number 4 might be controversial. This is my list, not your list. It's one of my favorite gas station treats. I always grab it. The Drake's apple fruit pie things. It's the one that's in like a little pocket. It has like it's like a baked pocket. It has like a glaze of sugar on top, and inside is like apple pie filling.
Nope.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
hard out on that one. I'm not saying it's your list, brother, but hard out on that one.
I know it's a very, you either love it or hate it. My next 3 I feel good about. Number 3, fucking amazing. You can use it as a breakfast if you want. They come in powdered. They come in chocolate. Donuts.
That's the assorted selection one. Like one is like
they're like small little donuts that are like maybe like this a little bit bigger than a quarter. They come in packs of 6 in like a straight line.
Yep. Yeah.
I think they're Hostess. Really good.
Not bad. Not a bad choice.
Only problem is your hands are just like a chocolatey mess afterwards.
Can't do the powdered ones either because like people think that you're just in your truck or in your car doing one of these while you're eating. So yeah, you can't.
Wow with it. All right, my number 2 gas station treat. This one again might be controversial. I think it might be as a case for the GOAT of these treats. Oatmeal cream pies. Are you into the oatmeal cream pies?
I think there was a stage like early on, like teens, when I was all for the oatmeal cream pie. And then I think the older I got, the more I drew away from just oatmeal itself. Like, I don't really like oatmeal raisin cookies.
It doesn't taste like oatmeal though.
Yeah, I know, but like it's just the fact that it just might be. So like anything with like oatmeal, I kind of drew away from it. So I'm not saying it's a bad choice. It was definitely a good choice when I was like 10 or 12. But like right now, I'm gonna probably walk right by it.
I think I got you. I think we're gonna have the same number 1.
It's gotta be the same one that I have.
There is one gas station treat that is on top of Mount Rushmore by itself. It's on top of Mount Everest. It's amazing. It's a dessert. You could just have it as an actual dessert. The number 1 gas station treat is the Hostess cupcake. No, that's not your number 1. Interesting.
No, I will give you this. It is in my top 2.
Okay.
The Hostess cupcake, the little brown cupcake with the white swirls on the top.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. That
brings you back. Container.
Yep. That brings you back. I love that as your number 1. It's my number 2, and I'm not gonna. It's your list. It's your list. Yeah. So I give you the floor for it.
What are your top 5?
So bottom to top 5 to 1. I guess this is not a treat as my honorable mention, but gas station hot dogs. That's what I love. I don't care what anybody says. Love them. Got to give them their shouts. Number 5. It's something that, and I'm glad Mr. Houghton, appreciate you showing love on the show. Guest appearance a couple of months ago. So
by the way, Adam Houghton, how about that NASCAR race this weekend?
Oh my goodness. We're not talking about NASCAR.
001 finish.
Finish. I saw that. Like there was the photo finish with the horse racing and with the cars.
It was the closest NASCAR race of all time as far as distance between the winner and second place.
That's crazy. That's
no shot for Houghton in his NASCAR.
I mean, people be pissed off at that. But number 5. and Mr. Houghton can agree or attest to this one, are cereal bars.
Okay, I'm not familiar.
You don't give cheers. You don't have cheers for these. So cereal bars, essentially, like you could go in and I would grab.
What you're talking about.
Yeah, like we used to play flag football in Boston, and I could go grab, the cereal bar for Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and it was like mixed together Cinnamon Toast Crunch with a layer of like thin milk.
White.
Yeah, it was just sugar, it wasn't milk. But yeah, that would be my number 5. I know it's just a treat that you could grab from your house, but at the gas station, it slaps just as much. Pop-Tarts on the go.
I don't know if that was really the spirit of the list, but again, I like it. I was thinking more like Drake, Hostess, Little Debbie, like the big 3.
But there's only so much that you can go with those 3, which is why, like, I think your first 2 were kind of like, because you couldn't really go with too many. Number 3 is where I think it gets a little bit more in depth, and these are zebra cakes. I think zebra cakes go crazy.
Can I take a quick pause?
Go ahead.
This is how we got into this. My daughter is addicted to zebra cakes. She likes the zebra rolls, and she'll just be like, "I want a zebra roll," and I'm like,
"Yeah,
like you didn't fucking nap. You don't get a zebra roll. Get out of here."
I'm not looking forward to like walking by. We thankfully they'll probably do it at Wegmans too, but like walking by the treat section during Christmas, and they got the Christmas tree cakes out. I'm not looking forward to that because like that's when like the little ones like I want. But yeah, zebra cakes was my number 3. Number 2 was the Hostess cupcake. I think that one is a solid number, 1 or 2, whichever you go. Can't be wrong with 1 or 2.
You want a drum roll?
What? Yeah, sure. Yeah, give me the drum roll for number 1.
I'm gonna take a guess. Fudge round.
What'd you got?
I said fudge round.
No, wrong. Couldn't be any more off. I don't understand how this is your number 1. It's the fucking honey bun. Bro, you can't go wrong with the honey bun, whether it's just the glazed bun or it's the glaze with the sheet of sugar on top. You want to talk about high as a kid? Like, if I ate a honey bun right now,
If you eat a honey bun,
rest. Like the amount of sugar that you get for like as a 40-year-old that's got a bum leg and high cholesterol, blood pressure. If I ate a fucking honey bun right now, I'd probably die. I'd probably croak over before I got to the register to go pay the man to say, I want the honey bun. And he's going to say, you want another one? I'd be like, God damn it, I want another one. Give me another honey bun. Like that treat itself is the best gas station treat that there is out there.
I'm all about Hostess cupcake over the honey bun. My issue with the honey bun is this. You eat that shit, you look at your hands afterwards, it's glazed all over. It looks like you
and just like they do it in Bushi. Just lick it up. Don't care what they say. I don't care how it looks when I'm in the car or got it on my belly like this, eating damn, like I don't care what anybody. Look at him in his truck. Yeah, you want some of this? Go get your own.
Hey, there's nothing more sad in life than someone looking over and you're just in your car or truck, like housing McDonald's, like by yourself out of the bag or whatever. You're just like, yeah, I've hit that low point. I don't give a shit. Fuck you.
Honestly, could care less. Just sometimes I just give people the thumbs up and they look and they're like, they roll their window up and I'm like, it was good. I love the McDonald's, or in this case, I love the honey bun.
All right, let's get into our last subject, that Kendrick Drake beef, and we'll get the hell out of here. So I've been doing my best to follow this. So if you're in the audience, you want to chime in if something that I've missed or got wrong, please fill us in. I'm not going to say I'm a rap expert, but I've been like heavily invested in this over the past couple of weeks. So D, let's just start from the beginning where this all started. October. Drake and J. Cole put out a record, first person shooter. Essentially, there's a line in there, and there's stuff in the past between Drake and Kendrick. They don't really like each other per se. But essentially, they say that we the big 3, meaning Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole, we started the league. Now, Kendrick not really vibing with Drake to begin with, took exception to that, saying that there ain't no big 3, that just me. So like, you're not on my level. Get the fuck out of here. I'm the alpha of this generation.
7 months later.
So now Kendrick puts out a diss track. Drake puts out a diss track. It's fine at first. Actually, so Kendrick puts out a diss track. No, who puts out J. Cole puts out a diss track. J. Cole then apologizes for this diss track. A couple days later, takes it down, the track itself, which, by the way, people gave J. Cole so much shit we're bowing out of this beef because people wanted to see some rap beef. J. Cole is the smartest man in this world
move.
because he don't want none of that.
He was just like, bro, I will have to go into a deep, dark area when it comes to like coming up with actual disses that I got too much respect for Kendrick to do. I love what he is as an artist. I respect that. And half of the US was like, you a bitch, bro. You backing out, you a bitch. And the other half was like, man, this dude is at peace. Let him just be at his peace. I was that side. I was like, the man wants to just be somewhere on fucking Dreamville on the top of a roof chilling. Like, let him just sit there like his album cover. Don't bother him.
Yeah, and Zay, I think is what I was talking about, that diss track, the one that was later redacted that you're speaking of, I think. Anyways, so now Drake does a diss. We got Kendrick coming back, and I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit. It's gotten nasty. So shots that were fired. Basically, Kendrick saying it doesn't. We're not gonna get to the pedophilia yet.
I heard that earlier today.
That's the top rope at the end. Basically Kendrick being like, everyone in your crew, there are moles everywhere. I know everything. So don't even start with me. First of all, goes at Drake for having like fake body, like doing like fake abs, taking what's that weight loss drug that's all about now? Ozempic?
Is that the Ozempic? That commercial?
Yeah. I think people
I thought it was Jenny Craig, so I might be off. Sorry, I'm out of the game.
And then Kendrick basically just saying you're a terrible father.
I did hear that part too.
Just going at Drake, calling him a deadbeat dad. He needs to like get morals. You're not like me. Drake then comes back, accuses, I think, Kendrick of. I don't know if we got to the point where he accuses Kendrick of beating his wife, and saying that one of his children is not biologically his. That his wife was cheating on him. That's a different baby daddy. Then it gets ugly. Then
so this wasn't ugly. This was just
no. And then Kendrick absolutely just throws haymakers, basically saying you ain't allowed to say the N-word no more. You ain't about the culture. You're just a white boy trying to parade as a black guy trying to make money.
Not the Degrassi days. Come on, bro.
And then it gets worse because like the last album, if someone can help me out, Dave Free, yeah. Dave Free is the alleged baby mama of, Kendrick Wife's baby. Anyways, where was I? Right. Whatever the last track was, if you could get me the last track's name, I forget.
From who?
That is the worst. Kendrick, the one he put out most recently. Number one, it's like a banger. Like it's actually got some swing to it. Like it's catchy as fuck. And number two, straight up calls Drake a pedophile. Like several times.
Not like us.
Yeah. And then I think the pedophile stuff is obviously terrible. But the very end basically says, akins Drake to a slave master, and the fact that he's just using the culture to profit, and he only comes running to Atlanta into the culture when it's time to get the bread, and that he knows Drake ain't like us, and basically Drake's just trying to profit off of black community. And it's like that was the last of it. I think Drake did one other thing, but it was kind of like, I ain't a pedophile, like kind of just it wasn't like a shot at Kendrick, and it just got real ugly, man. Like Kendrick legit fucking hates this man.
Sounds like it. This is the area that like, and I shout out to Zay for being in the chat.
Thank you, Zay. I appreciate it.
I think this was the area that J. Cole was like, look, bro, like this is gonna get ugly, and it did, right? Like he saw the writing on the wall, was like, this is just like, I have music with Drake. Like I'm on tour with him at the time of this happening. We got Adam Houghton still talking about.
I love how I was just throwing.
Love it, absolutely love it. But on the other side, I got Kendrick, who's my guy. Like he's like 1A and 1B when it comes to like top guys right now is Kendrick and J. Cole. The way when it comes to like the underground, not so much on the radio, not so much obviously in sales, because we know Drake whoops their ass with that. But when it comes to the underground, and J. Cole was like, let me just get up out of here, because there's just a lot of ammunition that like all this repurposing stuff with like Drake and like the 16-year-old when he was like 19 doing shows. Like, it's just like, I don't know, bro. Like at the end of it, like what's the outcome, right? is it like us to be like, oh, Kendrick's the best of all, he's the greatest of all time? Like, is that what we were trying to go? Or is it just like Kendrick just like trying to say, like, I don't fucking like you? Because like he could just say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what this is like. What
There's literally five lines in one of the Kendricks. Like I don't like this about you. I don't like that. I don't like this.
I heard that there was there's a video that like was like representing that from like 10 years ago. This old black dude outside of his ex's house is like, your boyfriend's whack. The way that his name is spelled is whack. The way that he doesn't brush his teeth is whack. Like that's what he was going off of. So like it's funny to relate to that stuff.
Zay's got the tinfoil hat on saying that.
Maybe we should have had him on. We could have had another Bell in here instead of the one that called out on us.
Zay's tinfoil hat theories that they're working together and come out with an album. I don't know, man. I think Kendrick legit fucking hates this man. Like you don't say this sort of stuff about someone and it just sells some money.
So I said, he does hate him. So I'm not gonna put it past him that he doesn't. But that was the first thought that I had when this started like a month ago. Is the people that are a little bit more tapped in the music industry. I asked them, I was like, who's about to release an album? Somebody said Kendrick, and I was like, well, there's the fucking motive right there. Like, you don't just wake up, like I said, 7 months later. You don't just wake up and be like, oh, he said it's just big me. There's no big three. It's just me. Like, unless you got a motive behind it. And like the way that I see it is like if it's money motivated or like money generated because he's got an album coming out, then how are you gonna clown on somebody for saying that you're using the culture to try to get your sales up? You know what I'm saying? Like you're literally doing the exact same thing by drawing attention to this. I won't say it's a fake beef because they obviously fucking don't like each other, but like you're doing this to gain momentum to sell more records.
If you know like the background of these two people, like there's no doubt what Kendrick's about and his upbringing, like what he believes. Like Kendrick's about like the old school, like gangster rap.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he's not like old school gangster rap, but like, he was brought up in that culture. Drake's more of a club pop, like kind of. Rapper. He's not
a rapper.
Dude, he's not a rapper, but
he's an artist.
Yeah,
there's a difference. He's not a rapper. He's an artist.
That's where Kendrick's coming from. Is like you're just an artist trying to use rap to sell to a different community, and like
Beyonce's got a country song out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing? And this isn't to like, but this is why I can't follow this type of stuff because the logic in here, it just doesn't compute. What it's like, how can we clown one, but then crown the other? You know what I'm saying? Like, I won't say it's first. Like, it's a lot of first thoughts. Like, it was my thought when this was a thing where people like, Drake ain't a rapper. Let me go at him for not being a rapper. But then it's like, y'all put fucking Beyonce on this pedestal, and I ain't saying that she's not good, but like you put her on this pedestal for putting out a fucking...
I'm warning you, don't fuck with the Beehive.
Yeah, we already had the little Kimites come on our Twitter. What I'm saying is, and this ain't even disrespect, but what I'm saying is, how is it that like we appreciate your straps, another GBA guy in here, appreciate y'all. How we say this?
That's just funny as hell. Yes, Zay knows. Don't fuck with the Beehive.
Let us not in here. Let us get our podcast from Apple to put us on TV. BET After Dark. If that's what it takes, me to go after the Beehive. Shit.
Oh man. So, anyways, yeah, this shit's gotten ugly, man. And then I told you earlier in the show that like today someone got shot outside. I don't know what that was about.
Like, what the fuck? Like,
I don't know what that's about. I think he found the mole. Maybe he found the mole. Yeah. The Kendrick mole.
Like we saw shit like this happen 30 years ago. Weird. Is 30 years ago now? Was the 90s 30? It was. Yeah. Ooh, weird to say that, bro. Weird. Well, we saw this in the 90s, bro. Pac and Biggie, West and East. All of a sudden, Pac got shot. He stayed alive. Then they were like, nah, you ain't gonna stay alive anymore. They shot him again. He fucking died. Year later, Biggie died. Like, what are we doing with this? Like, I'm not saying like it's gonna lead to death, but like we're at an age right now where people shoot first, ask questions later. It's just like it's just stupid. That's the way that I see it.
I don't think it's leaving no one's death, but like, Kendrick is a little unhinged. I'm just gonna say that. Like Drake doesn't want any real beef. Kendrick might be a little unhinged, like literally.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past. I only follow people based off of their music. I don't really know too much of like somebody's background and whatnot, unfortunately, like outside of the rap game.
I would just say like long-term ramifications of this. Like, I don't think there's anything going to stick to Kendrick. Like some of the things that Drake said, like it's not going to really stick to him long term.
No,
but
Drake's laughing all the like. You know how 50 said it? I'm laughing straight to the bank with this.
Oh,
This is exactly what Drake's doing. But go ahead.
I think this is not good for Drake long term because I think Kendrick has created an outline basically saying this dude is a traitor to the culture, and he's made Drake seem like a phony trying to use everyone. And I think other rappers will be hesitant to come to Drake's back in the future. That's all I'm saying, because Kendrick's painting Drake as a Benedict Arnold, and you really want to sign up to like publicly support this man after all he's been like kind of shine the light on. Like I feel like it might be harder for Drake moving forward as far as some of those things.
Drake is the closest out of any of these active rappers right now to being a billionaire. I don't think this has any long-term effect on him.
That's fair. I mean, plus, like, honestly, if we're gonna talk about the Drake fan base,
Yes,
it's probably like,
and it's not. I'm not even saying it to like clown on Kendrick by any means, but like, there's levels to it. So Kendrick in the artist or like the music game, not saying lyrically, right? Like, I'm not saying bar for bar. I'm not saying that, but in the industry of music, Jay-Z is obviously Jay-Z. I looked at the comments, so he said Jay-Z. Drake is in that Steph and LeBron area. Kendrick is like a DeMar DeRozan when it comes to that.
making money.
Drake, yes, but that's what I'm saying. Drake will sell out a stadium in fucking London.
Drake, I got you.
Kendrick can barely sell out the Barclays Center. That's what I'm saying.
Let's pick two big men. Let's pick Rudy Gobert and Isaiah Hartenstein.
Sure, if that's what you want to go, but you're comparing
a better player, but no one respects him, and that's Drake.
For all of the shit that you just gave me about attacking the Beehive, you just compared Kendrick Lamar to a white dude that plays for the Knicks.
Hey man, he said he was black.
Crazy.
I don't know. Oh man, what a show! What a show! Should we? I think that's all we got on the Kendrick Drake beef. That was some good engagement. We appreciate you all helping us out, Zay. Much love to help him, my ignorant ass, fill in some details. But now, time to close out the show and get out of here.
The show is coming to an end. But first, it's time to get to anything we've missed. It's closing time. 1 segment, 2 takes. Now go.
All right, time to close out. Last closing thoughts can be sports, pop culture, whatever the fuck you want. It's your time to ISO ball. D, you want to go first today, or do you want me to go first?
You can lead it off.
I'm going to talk about your boy Dion, primetime, out from Colorado. I want to gauge your feel for what he's been doing. You hear about Dion and Shador Sanders talking shit to former players on Twitter and just clapping back at everyone.
Yeah, that dude that said something about his son.
Yeah, basically be like, you suck. You don't belong here anyways. Get the fuck out. A lot of players have been piecing out of the University of Colorado. D, you got any thoughts on that? Because I feel like long term, this Dion thing, it's going to be a hype train that ends in a bad place.
Dion's setting himself up for post Colorado days. That's all he's doing. His long term goal isn't to be coaching in the college level. His long term goal is to get into the NFL ranks, and he'll obviously won't be as much of a voice in the NFL. But once his son's gone, he's out of there. There's
a good coach though. Like he's a hype man. Like it works good for recruiting. It works good for recruiting, but like tactically, is he a good coach? Like what does he do that's actually good besides being Deion Sanders?
People respect that. Who did we know, or what did we know about Raheem Morris before he got to Houston? Right. So like things like that can happen. It's what's that? Was Morris?
Raheem Morris, the Bucks coach.
Okay. Houston Texans head coach. I'm drawing. I had that name stuck in my head too this whole time. I was like, it's not it.
Yeah, the Raheem Morris he just got hired by the Bucks. Yeah, or no, D'Amico Ryans you're thinking of.
D'Amico, thank you, linebacker.
He's now the Falcons coach.
Yes, maybe that's the reason why, because this whole shit with the draft and whatnot. Maybe that's what I was thinking. But yes, no. What was D'Amico Ryans besides just a linebackers coach before he got to Houston?
He was well respected as a player for many, many years, and he coached.
And Deion's not,
but D'Amico also coached several years in the Shanahan defensive structure.
Fair. No, I honestly think that it's big now because like he's at Colorado and they're coming off of a 4-8 season. But once Shador is out of there, I think he's out of there too.
and that leaves the players and the university shit out of luck. So I'm saying it's just he's going to crash and burn, man. He's going to go as far as he can, and then at some point the wheels are going to fall off. But I digress. Hey, Zay, look at Zay. Zay's got my back. I think he's talking about Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yes, he is. I saw that. I didn't comment on it.
See that? He's black. He's half black. Go ahead. What do you got for me?
So I'm actually going to give a shout out to a couple of the girls from the most recent draft class. I know that I'm always WNBA, just like you're usually back-end NBA or back-end NFL or whatnot. I'm going the WNBA route. Caitlin Clark had a great debut. I don't know if you caught it, but she had 20 points in her first debut. For all those that were saying that she won't hit that step-back jumper, she sure as shit hit that step-back jumper on a couple of people. People just shook their heads like, what the fuck? We got to deal with this again. So, yeah, it was cool to see her do that. Unfortunately, up in Chicago, Carmela Cardoza, she's out with a shoulder injury. She's most likely going to be gone for the next 3 to 4 weeks, but it could be stretched to 6 to 8. Hate to see that, especially, but that means it's Angel Reese's team. Like, it went from having 2 top 7 draft picks to now with one of them being out, Angel Reese is going to be the superstar talent. And then Cameron Brink. I don't know if you saw the way that she's able to protect the paint, but my goodness, you want to talk about some blocks? Pull up an Instagram video. She had a great debut in the preseason where she had like 3 blocks. One of them was an incredible one where she was guarding one person, flipped around like she was Wemby, sent her shit into the second row. So it was really cool just to see a lot of the younger draft class stars. I'm going to be a follower. I wish there was a team around here that like the girls could grow up watching, but like we'll most likely see them walking around with an Angel Reese or a Caitlin Clark jersey soon.
Big Cameron Brink fan.
Yeah, she's good. She's good. Well, like I didn't get to watch the full game, but I was able to watch like a lot of the highlights for it. And I was like, damn, she's blocking shit like Wemby. So
man, we missed the whole debate. Maybe we'll get to it someday. There was like the internet was ablaze about the Victor Wembanyama versus Caitlin Clark pay disparity. That was like a hot second 2 weeks ago. I
hate talking about pay difference between WNBA and NBA. As much as I'm all for what I've been talking about with WNBA, let's keep money out of it. It's a horse of another color that people just don't quite understand, and they're just talking to talk.
I'm like, we are pro WNBA. We talk about one game. My only thing was like, people want to just bitch about it on the internet. Do something about it.
Yes.
Go buy tickets, buy jerseys, support it, watch it on TV. Just be a supporter. But no, people just want to bitch about stuff without making solutions.
Exactly. No, I'm with you on that part.
D, good show. Great show.
For you being tired, bro, like way to fight the urge to just like kick it in today. And like you were there. You got some great points, some great information, and you were on top of this whole Kendrick Drake shit.
When you mentioned honey buns as the number one snack, I woke the fuck up to fight you. That's all I got to say.
So we waited until 50 minutes in for you to wake up. Noted.
Yeah. But hey, for real, I know you're gonna say all the good stuff, but thank you guys for watching and contributing in the chat. It makes doing this so much more fun. Continue to come back and have fun with us. Just all I want to say. But D, why don't you get us out of here, right?
Where's my banner at the bottom, baby? I got to refer them to my website. There it is. No, we appreciate you guys being here. For those that were able to catch us live, obviously you can see us here on your boy DFrizzy_Frizz5 Twitch. You can hit us up on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook, where we had a couple of comments. Shouts to those that gave us the like, and obviously comments from Mr. Houghton. We appreciate y'all being here. Next day, you can hit us up on the podcast areas where you can find or download your latest podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anything else that's out there that's in the podcast world. You can also hit us up on our website. Website clicks do matter, especially when it comes to Wikipedia. We're starting to build a brand because of you guys, so we appreciate you all being here. Most importantly, with the summertime being around here, I got my goals. So please make sure y'all take care of y'all physicals. We want to make sure that we live long enough. So take care of y'all mentals. Please take care of y'all chicken. Take care of y'all children. And we'll catch y'all on the rebound. But not next week.
Where are we at in society today? Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm not a kid.